What's up, guys?
Welcome to my channel. Got Randy here again.
Glad to be back again.
Okay, so actually after our last video, I went through I wanted to go through and study more of like NK's interview. I went through her first interview and I caught a lot of lies that I wanted that I wanted to let you guys know about. And then I kind of on parts of it I kind of lined it up, compared it to Chris's interview, his new interview, and kind of compared it and like which one of them's lying, because both stories can't be true on some instances. So first of all, I know the whole 4th of July thing has everybody confused because Chris starts off by saying, when they're like, when they're asking him like, when's the first time you got together with NK, and he said it wasn't until after his trip to San Diego. His trip to San Diego was from the 22nd to the 25th, okay? And then Shanann left on the 26th to North Carolina, right? And one thing I felt it seems kind of weird. She says in her interview, she says that she was out of town with a friend the last week of June to July 3rd, right? But Chris says he didn't get together with her until after San Diego. They didn't meet outside of work, right? Until after San Diego, okay? Which they didn't get back to the 25th. Shanann didn't leave till the 26th, so I'm guessing, he meant the 26th, 27th. But she claims she was out of town the week. If you listen to her first interview, and I don't have a timestamp for that. I've timestamped a bunch, and maybe I'll put it in my description. I forgot to put a timestamp. But she said she was out of town with a friend from the last week of June to, she didn't get back to July 3rd. And if you remember his interview, he said he spent the night at her house on July 3rd to the 4th. Remember Shanann called him like 10 times. He was sleeping. He slept in because he didn't have to work on the 4th of July. What's that?
Dog.
Yeah.
Just
and the
dog.
weird thing is if that was their first time meeting outside of work, like, that's just kind of weird that the first time meeting, for one, he spent the night the first time meeting, and number two, that first time meeting outside of work, right, the next morning, she's all upset about, remember he told her, he supposedly went back in after Shanann called, he took the phone outside, and then he went back, she was in the shower, and he said, hey, I have to go, because I want to, next time Shanann calls, I want to be at home, and remember, that's when he starts to say, that's the time he had to walk her off the ledge, or whatever, so the first time they get together outside of work, she's already freaking out about being second fiddle, about him putting his wife first. The first incident, like, something just doesn't add up. Why would she already be that attached? And that, like, would she have that much say? You know what I'm saying? That, so I don't know. And there's some other reasons I believe that something's not right between one of their stories. Okay, so
Both of them.
I don't know which
Sorry,
one.
yeah,
There's
just
just lies
both.
between both. Because so he starts off by saying in that interview, he says, she came to my house once, July 4th. I didn't have to work that day. And then he goes on to say, Shanann called me 10 times in a row. She was pissed. And Chris says he goes back inside and tells NK, I gotta go, and then he said he called NK later, and she realized she would always be second fiddle, he says. And so he says, she says, originally, she says, I don't want to see you at, I think, and this is another thing I catch in her interview. This is her interview. Or wait, is it hers or his? I'm sorry. I took so many notes yesterday. I was taking so many notes. I have it somewhere down on my notes, but Okay, when she and this is all the interview I'm talking about is it's going to be his new interview and her first interview. Not her first interview because I know she had I think a phone interview or original interview on the 15th, but I'm talking about the one where she was with her dad. It was August 16th is her interview. She was with her dad, and this is the interview I'm talking about. Okay, so he actually, it was his interview. He said, he goes to say she didn't think it was safe, and then he stops and he goes, "Good for us to see each other anymore that day." So that kind of makes you wonder, like, safe, like,
You're gonna get
that
busted.
obviously, yeah, but I'm saying if she claimed she thought they were separated the whole time, right? Why would she even be saying safe? That's why I think he stopped. And you know what I'm saying? Why would she even
he was
think
about ready to catch himself in the
safe?
line.
You know, like if she thought they were separated, she even said, "Oh, there was no restrictions with Chris. Oh, he could talk freely, and I'm the one that put the restrictions. You know, when he's with his kids, don't call me. You know, wait till they go to bed." And she said, "Oh yeah, he could talk freely because he was staying in the basement. Remember, they were separated. He was staying in the basement. There was no restrictions. They were separated. So why would she even care?" So that's why it doesn't add up. If Chris is saying to her, "Shoot, I have to get home because I want to be home for when she calls next," isn't that telling her right there that, like, he's hiding something? Like, if he's allowed and he's separated, why would she care if he's not home? You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. But we all know that she lied about. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, no, she lied about that. No, but yeah, he was definitely, he threw himself underneath the bus.
And then
They had to re-step real quick.
Well, see, okay, but then he says that she ended up calling him later that day, remember, and invited him over. She went to a baseball game. She went to, I think, a Rockies game. So she said after the game, he said that she ended up calling him. That he went over that night. That's what he said in that interview, right? So, but then I want to backtrack and tell you. This is where this stuff doesn't add up. Okay, in NK's interview, they're asking her, you know, if she's ever been to his house, right? And she said, yeah, twice, you know. And now listen to this story. So if Chris's story is true, right? And he was staying at her house, you know, the morning of the 3rd, and, you know, her wife, he's calling, and you know, he ends up having to go home, and she said, I don't want to see you at all that day. And then she ends up going to a baseball game, and then she does end up calling him later that night. But her story to the cops about the 4th, she says she went to his house the morning of the 4th of July. She was helping him to set up his fitness app. She was hesitant to do so because it was an invasion of space and there were other people who lived there. Those were her words. And then she says she sat in the front room. He cooked her chicken and carrots at lunch, and then she left, right? Okay, remember that. She said she sat on the floor in the front room. And then later on, they're asking how she accessed the house those days, and she says, because remember, she's saying the first time was the 4th, and the second time she was over was like the 14th or 15th, remember? So she says the first time she accessed the house was through the front door. She says the second time was through the garage, but the first time through the front door, she said she went through the front door because he just got done cleaning his carpet, and he moved all the furniture out of the way, and the furniture was kind of in the way of the door, and he's like, the door doesn't open all the way. I'll move all the furniture after the carpet dries, but yet she sat on the carpet that day to set up his. The carpet's wet, but she said she sat on the floor.
Good catch.
On the
Good
floor,
catch.
yeah. So like earlier on in that interview, she said she sat on the floor in the front room, and then here she's saying the carpet was wet because he just got done cleaning it.
Dude, she needs to be wearing a T-shirt saying, "Oops, I did it again."
But then another thing is if she came over there in the morning, I thought he was over there in the morning sleeping, and then he went home because Shanann was calling him, and he didn't see her until later that night. But she's saying she went over there that morning to set up his fitness app, and so there's a bunch of, I feel like, lies. I don't know who's lying. I feel like he's lying. Well, they're both lying on the stuff.
See, that's the thing.
It just doesn't add up.
You're just getting into a whole mess of freaking lies from both, people who just constantly lie. You're not going to get nothing out of it. It's just going to make your head spin, actually. And that's a shitty part about it, really.
Well, no, but you don't want to talk about this stuff? Because I want to show how she was lying, and so we could kind of call her out, try to figure out, what she was.
That's true, too. That's another thing, too. Yeah, I guess so. That, she's got to be called out a lot more than what she has been, because apparently, like the viewers have said, I've read so many comments, if they put themselves in her position, or if you did, wouldn't you want to, clear your name or at least come out?
Yeah, that's what you guys made me realize. Because I was like, let me put myself in, their situation or in NK's
if you weren't
situation.
guilty of anything.
If you aren't guilty of anything, wouldn't you want to clear your name and do anything that you could to clear your name? So that's what made me realize I wanted to give a shout out that made me actually realize. I mean, I know a lot of you guys commented about that. Like, if I put myself in a situation, then I would just take a lie detector. I would do everything to clear my name. But the first one I came to, I wrote it down because I wanted to give them a shout out here. I wanted to give Shanty a shout out because
Shanty.
They're the ones that made me realize one of
Yeah.
Yeah, Shanty. We actually used to. Man, that used to be one of my favorite local bands, the Shanty, where I went to college, Bowling Green. They were, they're actually from Columbus, Ohio, but they were like a local band that traveled like the college towns and like put on shows, and then they would have festivals. They're called Shanty. Oh my gosh, I used to love that band.
Good band.
Wow.
Good band. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that when I said Shanty because it's spelled different. It was such a long time ago. I forgot.
Yes,
but they were good. But Shanty made me realize it's who made me realize that if I was in, and remember I said put yourself in NK's shoes. If I was in NK's shoes, I would be doing everything to clear my name, and that's what made me when I read their comment. I'm like, you're right. Like if I was in the shoes, like I said, put yourself in her shoes. Like we were just saying, we would do everything to clear our name. So you're right. So thank you. I just wanted to give you a shout out because you did make me realize that. Like, duh, you would be clearing your name.
Yeah.
So
definitely, for sure.
Anyway,
because she just, just do it. Clear the damn air, get your name cleared, and it doesn't matter if you come across as just a despicable person, I guess. I don't know, but I wouldn't just sit back and let channels like this and other forums just bash me. Hell, who knows? She'd probably come in under a different screen name.
Okay, here's another thing that I caught her in a lie. Okay, so remember on August 12th when she did a Google search of 2825 Saratoga, his address, right? So she clearly knew what his address was. But in this interview, when the investigator asks her if she knows, where he lives and the street name, she claims that she doesn't know the street name. And that's the 16th. That's 4 days later. You're telling me 4 days later she can't even remember the street name, but she knew the actual street number. I mean, she knew it was 2825 Saratoga. She said to the investigator she didn't even know the street name. 4 days later she forgot it. So that's another thing.
Look at my Google Maps.
Yeah, so if it's like, if you don't have nothing to hide, why wouldn't you just say, I know his street name. I was there, like she obviously knew it. So that's another lie. This is another thing. And I promise I'll get some timestamps on here so you guys could listen to these on the interview. Okay. The interview that I listened to, it was actually, and the one that I'm going off of is the one from, I think it was Denver Post. It's the audio recording. It's got that picture of her, that real proper picture of her on the thumbnail. It's at 3113. Okay. NK's dad said that NK, she hadn't been feeling good. And then it's like NK cuts off her dad real quick. Like she didn't want him to finish what he's saying. After he says, she hasn't been feeling good, he starts saying, Jim. He says Jim twice, like he's starting to say something about her not feeling good, and then goes to say Jim, and then she kind of is talking over him and kind of even talks louder when he says Jim. Like she cuts him off. She does not want him to say whatever he is gonna say. So he was gonna say something about Jim, but she cut him off. And I wish we had a video of that so we could kind of see how she looks at him. I'm thinking she probably looked at him like, like that look, like, don't say anything about Jim, because he quit. Like as soon as Jim, she talks a little louder and like cuts him off, and then he doesn't finish. That's all he says is Jim twice, like he's about to say something about that. But she does not want him to say, and I don't know what it is that he's gonna say. I wish he would have finished what he was gonna say.
Yeah, so that Jim was the officer
friend.
there.
No, her friend.
Oh, see, no,
it's her friend that came over that next day, that Monday. Her good friend Jim. That's why why it's so weird.
Really now?
Yes, that's why a lot of people think Jim has something to do with it. The guy that used to work I guess he works in the oil fields too, but he was there from out of town and he was over that day. You remember she gave him a house key and so I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird.
I briefly caught that stuff about Jim. That's why I was thinking for some reason in this the part that you were talking about was the father was calling the investigator's name Jim.
No.
Yeah, because I just briefly touched that with her friend Jim.
No, he was starting to say something about Jim the friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. It's like she did not want him to finish, and she cut him off real quick. And then she just kind of started talking a little louder when he said Jim, and he said it twice. And then you could probably tell he took the hint, like, okay, I better not say anything.
Dad.
And then she goes on to say, she got sick prior to this whole thing happening. That was in the middle of that conversation, and he was trying to say something about Jim. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys have some input on what you think. I'm not sure.
Actually, a lot of people who kept that, I have been commenting, who's Jim? Who's Jim? Does he even exist?
Oh, yeah, because people are like,
maybe
does
they're
Jim
missing
even
the part
exist?
that I might have missed. Yeah,
no, they're
Jim
saying
even
because
exist?
they're trying to figure out who he is, what's his last name. Remember, she wouldn't give him any information.
And that's not in the
she said, remember, she
at all
told him to
either,
leave him alone. Leave Jim alone.
Yeah,
like, don't bother
never,
him.
Yeah.
No, he's not. So.
I'll be damned. Huh. Well.
So, and another thing is, another weird thing that happens with her dad. At 35-40, on this interview, her dad, I guess I don't know if this is a big deal, but her dad started to say, he said, when did I go over there? Tuesday? He's talking about going over NK's house. He's like, when did I go over there? Tuesday morning? And NK quickly says, no, Wednesday morning. It was like she almost wanted to make sure, but it could have just been as innocent as because it was really Wednesday morning and she's corrected him, or it could be like, no, don't say you're here Tuesday for some reason. I don't know. I could be reading too much into that one. And there's another one where it's weird, where he says, where is it at? Hold on. I took so many notes, guys. I'm sorry. I went through that interview and I am just writing like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Definitely. No, more power to you, that's for sure.
Yeah, because she said Jim got to NK's house. She said remember he got there before 3:45 because she got home at 3:45. She said he was already there because he has a key. But she said he just had got there right before her. And then she said he leaves around 9 or 10 that night. So, I don't know. Okay, that's another thing her dad starts to say. They're talking about that Sunday night, and her dad says, what about that 9 o'clock thing you were telling me about on Monday? And NK says, we'll get there. We're still on Sunday. But she never ends up talking about it. So I wonder what he was talking about.
Dad, wait a minute. When I lie, it's got to be in sequence. Otherwise, I'm not going to remember this, okay?
So I don't know.
Just can't do it.
Like I said, I might be reading too much into this. But it's just certain things that just were a little fishy. Because...
Man, throw that bitch back in the water. That's more than a little fishy. Man.
So I mean, you would find that a little weird too, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Okay. I have so much
God bless you for looking through all this stuff because I can't. I have to take a section and just tear it apart. I can't. Man, yeah. That's a lot of time. Good job, seriously.
No, I know. I feel like maybe I'm reading too much into some of this stuff, but
I mean, you're answering questions that your viewers want.
Well, yeah, it's just some things about NK that just because after I had that last video, I'm like, well, let me go through, which I already knew like a lot of the lies, but I just kind of wanted to go see if I could catch any more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well,
and I did.
Apparently, it's riddled with them.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's like a lot of. And then when I was comparing some of the stuff he was saying to her, those didn't add up either. So there's like I don't know who's lying in those cases, or they're both lying, or.
That's all right. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let's see.
So yeah, definitely, and we're doing a little something here today. We're collaborating, of course. She's covering her notes, and at the same time, we figured we'd. Trying to get a little bit more better equipped here and efficient, really. So if you see me turning away, it's not that I'm not paying attention to what she's saying, because I'll interject here, but I'm trying to get some stuff done on here as well at the same time. So yeah, we'll try and get some stuff done more efficiently, actually, to get it out there to you sooner.
Okay, so just some things I just kind of found weird about things. You know how she keeps, it's been said, and we see her in text how she doesn't want to be second fiddle, and Chris even said she doesn't want to be second fiddle, but then she goes on to say in the interview that she tells Chris that when your kids are awake, you need to spend time with your kids. Then when they go to bed, you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. So isn't that like that's two different things? Like, she's saying she doesn't want to be second fiddle to telling Chris that, and she's saying that she's telling Chris to put her kids first. No, make sure how she always claims, no, I tell Chris, make sure your kids comes first, spend time with your kids, and then afterwards when they're sleeping you can talk to me. But that's obviously, the way Chris is talking, that's not the way it's going now, because it's like she doesn't want to be second. She wants to be first. She doesn't want him to put her kids first. That's the way I'm taking it by those texts to her friend Charlotte. How's I don't know if I want to be second, and I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that one, but it's like even he said he had to talk her off the ledge a couple times where she would get all worked up about her being second. But yeah, she's claiming she always said put your kids first. So that just kind of goes against what she said, what she's saying that she said to him, and then what he's saying how she was. So I don't even. That might not be important, but what do you think?
I think it's important, because that right there at that point in time when she's telling him or making him aware that I don't want to be second fiddle, and it might not work, whatever the case is, and I'm sure she's probably being pretty insistent about this, and a heated conversation maybe. It's just like, and she knows his personality, so yeah, all of a sudden he's like, oh, okay, and he'll just forget about the kids, really blatantly just get them out of the mind, and she knows it. So all of a sudden that's what.
Okay, and now this is my opinion here. I think how she said, like, before Chris went to North Carolina, that she told him to work on your marriage. You need to fix this, after she went over that second time, she said she saw the pictures. And, oh, he's got a beautiful life. Like, you need to fix this. And then if it doesn't work, then you can come back to me. Which, this is my opinion, but I think what she did is before he went, that she actually told him he needs to end it with Shanann or she's gone. Because she even said, she made a comment that she said, if they do work it out, she's out. Like, if they go to North Carolina and they work it out, she's out.
Yeah, dude, see, I'm still thinking they had a little bit longer. They knew each other a little bit longer than
I
what
know. Like,
that
if
was
they
led to
only,
believe.
I don't know if that's true that.
I just feel that's just
first
my
time
opinion,
they got
guys.
together,
I feel like
it was the end of. And she says end of June, early July, but then she said she was gone out of town with her friend the last week of June until July 3rd. So that would make that July 3rd night the first time they got together outside of work. That just doesn't make sense.
No, it
Something doesn't make
it really
sense
doesn't.
there. I don't know.
And for him to behave the way he did, and for both, it's just no. I'm just not buying the whole thing as usual. I'm not buying the whole thing. But yeah, no, I feel that they knew each other for a little bit longer than what they're saying. I really do. But my opinion.
No, Okay, so this is just another opinion that I feel like, remember how she said, like, when she was helping him look for an apartment, that she was asking, like, where's your wife gonna live? Because you gotta live close to her, because you want to live close to your kids. But I feel like that she told him the opposite, because if she's so worried about coming second, why would she want him to live close? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or she thinks she'd be saying the opposite.
Well,
like,
that's what she's like.
You know
where are you staying?
Yeah,
where's your wife staying? She better be far away from you.
That's probably how it really went, but I don't know.
Really?
Considering, because he said he had to talk her off the ledge like many a times, or not more than one time, in his interview.
We got two unstable people here that are on ledges, huh?
So, that's happened more than once. So she's freaking out about it a lot. So why would she? You wouldn't think she would want her to live close. So it's just, I feel like it just goes to show you how she is making it seem like to these authorities
Yeah,
that she's this person that she's not. Which right there
That's the
gives
whole-
you doubt about whether she was involved, because she's lying. She's trying to portray herself as this wonderful, morally correct person in a way when no, I really don't think that that's how it went down. And like I said, I know that's just my opinion, but I feel it hard to
Pretty
believe
damn
that
good.
somebody would say that, and then her biggest worry of the relationship is coming second and putting him putting Shanann first and not having time for her. Why would she want him to live close to her? I just don't buy that. Another thing that I was wondering, I know you could probably get out of your leases, but I noticed that she said that she still has, that interview was on August 16th, and she said the lease at her apartment is until July. So wonder if she is still there, because I guess she could have got out of her lease, but her lease would still be going on. It's not until July. That's what she says in the interview.
Wait, I mean, if it's in August and her release ended in July,
Yeah,
her
July
lease
hasn't
had already
came.
ended.
No,
that other way around.
she's saying it doesn't end
yeah,
until July. Because they're like, were you planning on moving in with them? When they were going to go look in August, she said, no, my lease isn't even over until July. So that does make you wonder, is she still living there or not?
No, she
Because
doesn't.
she could have got out of her lease, you think, probably?
Yeah,
Is there a way?
guaranteed,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what I was wondering, if if they'll work with you under, if there's a way she could have got out.
I don't think she wanted to work. She was just like, no, I'm not working with this guy. I'm just out. Yeah, with everything that's going on. No, she wouldn't be out of that place. Yeah.
And this is another thing. Okay. This is another thing that was really weird. Do you remember that interview where she's like, it wasn't like, hey, we should get married. Hey, we should have babies. And hey, I want to live with you and I need to meet your children. Let's cut the mom out. It was never like that. That's her words. I wrote it down. Quote. That's NK quote. But yet she was looking at wedding dresses for 2 hours, and she told Chris she wanted to have his son. Remember? 2 things. So that's, so it is like, hey, I want to have your babies, and it is like, hey, I want to get married. So right there. I know, it's like, it should...
How? I mean, how can... it's just crazy. Why aren't they giving her a polygraph? I mean, why
I
are...
know.
they possibly could be doing something. I don't know, but... Yeah, everything you're bringing up is just like, oh, damn. Yeah, I mean, just red flags everywhere.
Well, maybe now after this interview, and hopefully they're going back to her interview and kind of matching it up with what Chris said, and maybe realizing that either, hey, Chris is lying, which I know Chris is lying about some things, but like, I feel like she's lying. I mean, they're both lying about some stuff, but like, it should make them go back and question her about some of this stuff.
There's no doubt.
Because I know it's
There's
just
no
like,
doubt.
I know it's like, oh, that has nothing to do with the murders. She's just kind of lying. But that just shows you her personality, like that her willing to lie about all this stuff, that she's hiding something. Because why would you lie about stuff if you're not hiding? Like, why lie about all this stuff? There's so many lies. Like, why? If you're not trying to cover something up, that's what, it just doesn't make sense.
No.
I don't know. Like I said, I know I go back and forth. I fight with myself. But after listening, and this is just one of her interviews, and taking notes, I'm like, whoa, this girl's a liar. Like, more. I knew she was a liar, but whoa, more than I even realized, So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. Because like I said, I've heard this and I've seen a lot of it in the transcripts, but I never went back and correlated it because, I wasn't looking for that aspect of it.
Well, now after Chris's new interview, you kind of go back and compare what he says to what she was saying.
Yeah.
So,
you can, definitely.
And then this is another thing.
I hope the police are doing this.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I feel like they are. I feel like they are. It's just going to take time, though. They have to go through all their stuff because they don't want to make a mistake, because if she gets tried and is found not guilty, they can't try her again. So, they want to make sure they have all the evidence, They got to take their time with it. And, and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that for sure. I'm just trying to point out some of the lies, and it just is suspicious because whether it's that she's involved or whatever, she's trying to hide something, and I don't know. It just seems like an innocent person. Like if that was me, you guys are right. I would be there taking a polygraph. Let's do this. I'll give you all the details. Like, I want to clear my name.
I'd walk in with a polygraph machine. Here you go.
Yeah.
Who knows how to operate this? No choices. Let's go. Let's get this shit over with. Wow.
So, okay. So another thing is, she said Chris told her when he voices his opinion with Shanahan, it's not her. And the reason they don't get along anymore is because he feels like he's not heard with her. So, of course, NK knows in order to win him over, I gotta make it seem like he is heard. And we do what he wants. And you know what I'm saying? Like to give him what looks like complete control. Like, oh yeah, what do you want to do? What do you want to, like, it's almost like she's controlling him by pretending like he has all the control, and that's how she's controlling him. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, he has no control. We see, look what he did. He had no control. I mean, he did, but like, it was like because of her, he did all that. Like, he was so infatuated with this woman.
Yeah,
and she knew it, man. She knew it.
That's what gets me.
I mean, she definitely knew it. So, yeah. So I think it was definitely a way to. She figured out a way to kind of manipulate and control him by pretending like he had all the control. And remember how he said, like in the interview, like this relationship was different because I felt like I was in complete control.
I could be me.
Remember he said that?
Yeah, he did.
And like with Shanahan, he said he didn't have any control. I think that he had less control in this because look, I mean, how can he? If you think about it, how can he even think that he had more control when it caused him to do this? Like, dude, that was like he had no control. Like his
puppet master with that man, with that monster. Huh?
And she knew because she knew what it was that was bothering him about his marriage was because he felt like he didn't have any say in his marriage. So she knew, okay, so how do I win him over? I'm going to give him complete control, or at least pretend to give him complete control. And by doing that, control everything. I know.
No,
that's how I
basically,
don't know.
that's pretty well put. Yeah, damn.
So, what else? This is another weird thing. I mean, I don't know, I guess how weird. I wish I would have checked this, but I'm sorry I didn't get to check everything I wanted to double check with the discovery. But NK says Chris came over. He came over the Wednesday before the murders for a couple hours, and she told him to go home and spend time with the kids. But if I'm remembering right, I think that Wednesday was the Wednesday that they went to the ultrasound. And Nicole Atkinson watched the kids, remember? In her interview, I'm going to do a video talking about her interview, but I just want to say real quick. She says how he came home late that day, and he was in a bad mood. It seemed like he came home late. He didn't even say hi to her. He didn't even acknowledge her. I'm talking about Nicole Atkinson. When he came home, he didn't acknowledge her. He usually gives her a hug and says hi. He didn't hug her, didn't acknowledge her, didn't say hi at all. He was late, and then they went to the ultrasound. So I'm thinking he was at NK's. I think it was Wednesday. I gotta double check it, and if you guys know, throw me a comment. I didn't get to double check everything, or I didn't get to check the discovery on certain things, which I will tell you which ones I wasn't able to do, and this is one of them. But I'm pretty sure it was that Wednesday. So it kind of just gives you like his mentality. Like, he comes home late. Why was he late? He was at NK's. She tells him to go spend time with the kids. He probably didn't even want to go to the ultrasound. He was in a bad mood. He didn't even acknowledge Nicole Atkinson. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Man, speaking of Nicole Atkinson, we got to shout out to her in the next video or something because everybody needs a friend like Nicole Atkinson.
Yeah, she's awesome. She is. Right now. So
see, that's the crappy part about this whole thing with what I've been doing here. Excuse me. Is I've been so involved in trying to get all this stuff on this sick ass monster and his whatever, and I haven't actually had time to look at Nicole Atkinson's thing because I've just been so busy tearing everything else apart, and I feel terrible for that. But it's coming. When I do, it's gonna be a good one. It's definitely, she is due so much respect. I just dude, she blew his plan up right off the get-go.
I wonder
God
what his plan
bless
would
you,
have
Nicole
been.
Atkinson.
Yeah.
Maybe this tribute ain't gonna be as long as I thought it was. Yeah, no, man, that was freaking awesome.
What do you guys think though? If she went and intervened, do you think he would have got away with it or no? I mean, I don't, because they had a GPS on his truck, I guess, and they would have found Shanahan's body. But would Chris have went back to that site and covered it up more?
Well, they would have
That's
found
what
that.
I wonder.
They would have ended up finding the kid's body, probably. You know,
But
if
would they
anything,
have been
because
like?
it would end up clogging
Are
into
you
the
sure it
tanks
wouldn't
when
have
they
been?
pump.
Okay.
You know,
but I
'cause
heard
something's
that
gonna be
site
wrong.
wasn't heavily used, and that was maybe one of the reasons he picked that site.
Well, yeah, probably just for a time duration. Maybe he
So you
thought
don't
maybe
think it
he'll
would
buy me
have
some
by it,
time.
like how long it would take to? I don't know.
No, I mean it.
So you don't think there was
depends.
any way he would have got away with it?
No, no. Eventually, he would have been. Yeah, eventually he would have been caught definitely. But for some reason, he seriously thought he was buying himself some time for something. But thank God for that angel, Nicole Atkinson.
Yeah.
God bless you, girl.
Yeah, because who knows? He could have took off, went to Mexico. I mean, I don't know. Like a lot of people, like that Lynn Keel, they actually found him 34 miles from the Mexico border. Thank God they caught him before he got into Mexico, because he would have been. Once he crossed over that border, he probably wouldn't have been caught, right?
I don't know
I mean,
nowadays how
can
that
they
shit
go
goes.
over and look for him? And that's what I. You always hear
Used
people
to be
that
you'd never
they go.
you'd
Yeah,
be
that's
safe,
where they
you
go.
know, used to
but
be, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
You know, I'm sure that, but you hear them extraditing people back and forth. You know, so no, I'm sure they can bring them back.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's a safe haven anymore, but I think it was at one point in time. But yeah, man, I loved it. I did see that video of Nicole Atkinson in the beginning. You know, just being right there waiting on them cops to show. I know
yeah,
something
yep,
going.
Yep.
Yeah,
She knew.
you
Yeah.
go. God, man, I love that girl. Yeah, she's definitely. But it is just sad that. Yeah, and then seeing her pull off as she dropped her.
I know,
dropped
that probably
Shanann off.
haunts her for the rest of her life. It'll probably haunt her. Like, why didn't I? And there's no way she could
Why
have
would
known.
you
But
know?
like, why did I wish I would have known?
Yeah.
But man,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yes, it is.
I guess the other notes. I guess I have just how NK just okay. So they said they asked her, did Chris ever tell you he loved you? Yes, she says yes. Did you ever tell him? A couple times. She always says, oh yeah, he told me all the time, but I just did it a couple times.
Yeah.
But she was the one looking up wedding dress. I don't know. And then she says, she said I said it a few times and I meant it, but he felt the urge to say it to me a lot more than I did to him. NK was like, take your time with this. You don't need to rush that. So I don't know.
It's okay, baby. Take your time with it. You don't need to rush telling me you love me. It's okay. I love you.
And then in North Carolina, when Chris would tell her he loved her, she said, don't say that to me. Don't say those words to me. And then go and try to make peace with your wife and go lay in the bed with another woman. But yeah, she's the one that says she told him to go fix it with the wife. Yeah. But yeah, she's the one sending him nude pictures the whole time.
Keeping her in his mind.
You know what I'm saying? So don't say that, but let me send you nude pictures while you're supposedly trying to fix it with your wife. That's just bullcrap.
That's why she was deleting shit out of her phone left and right.
Yeah.
Didn't work, did it, Nicole? Huh?
And did you know
buying her time?
Which word is that? I think it was it was on his new interview. That he says that she's the one that showed him. If you listen closely, she's the one that told him about that app to put the pictures in. About putting in an app. Maybe not that specific app, but about to put her pictures in a secret app. So she's the one that kind of gave him that.
She gave him a lot of ideas. Well, she gave him a lot of shit. That's just point blank. Oh, man.
Wow.
It's repulsive.
And I feel like he didn't stand a chance, because if you listen to his interview, Shanann was his first serious girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I don't think he even, he meets NK and she just knew all the right things to say and the buttons to push to just
that's what
he doesn't have that much experiences with women, obviously. So
no, you're right. And
he just fell for it. I'm not taking any blame away from him, because what he did was horrible. But I feel like he didn't even know how to handle that situation. He just got manipulated and just fell right into the trap.
And I think there's one thing that he truly did say. It truly did say. And that interview was, if I didn't if I wouldn't have like met Nicole, I wish I wouldn't have never met her or something like that. Well, no, because he's lying about that. Anyways, he made a statement saying, somewhere along the line that if he would have did something differently, none of this would have ever happened. And that's about the only thing I believe he was telling the truth, because if he never met Nicole, I really don't think that monster would have ever at that time.
But at that time, what if another woman comes into play though?
No. Like that woman
okay,
was the one who had the mentality and to manipulate him, and she knew what she was doing. I don't give a shit what you say, Nicole. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. I'd give you my address. You can come talk to me. Like I'm gonna believe you.
And then this is another it's kind of selfish thing that she said in her interview. She says, and then I have to think about the consequences of his actions and how they affect everybody else. My name is about to be slandered. How dare you? And people aren't going to understand that. It's going to be hard to go out in public for a couple years. That really hurts me. This is really a horrible thing. How dare you? How dare you slander her name? That's what she's talking about here. How dare you ruin her life by murdering your family? That don't even make it. It's a very selfish thing to say. She's talking about how horrible it is that he ruined her name, and that she can't go out in public for a couple of years. Yeah, well, Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico can't go take another breath in this world anymore because of that. No. So how dare you make it all about you?
This whole case, these two. It just inflames me. It's just, this is just so terrible.
And then another weird thing
bringing out the worst in me, I'm telling you.
And I'm sorry, I'm talking, and we're gonna have a discussion here after this with and then I kind of listened to this by myself and took notes. So okay, so another weird thing is that that video. This interview that I'm talking about, I can only find an audio, but if you look through the discovery and then you hear the investigator say, we need this video during the recording. So there is a video out there. Why aren't they showing us the video? But they showed us the other video. I wonder why they only released the audio of this one, but they released the video of the other one.
I wish they would release that video because you can actually
I want to see
the body
language.
And
I wonder if it's because maybe they don't want her dad to be seen. Maybe her dad requested, so they don't know what. I don't know. I'm confused because they released the other video, and it says video in the discovery, and then he says we need this video right in that interview. So I want to see that video.
Yeah, because there was a couple of times when I was listening to that audio, he had. He had given a gesture there was a point where he said, forget what they asked somebody. He was like, it's over. So
you're talking about Chris.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this. Yeah. No, we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about the NK.
Oh, no, I'm still on that. Yeah. No.
But you're right. Do you know, I wanted to bring that up, how he made those sounds. Yeah. He kept going.
Yeah, did he go at the back of the head or did he go...
Or he did that a bunch. Did you notice?
Yeah. I mean,
it's what the heck? I didn't.
On certain questions, he was doing that, and I wanted to see how he was actually doing it. Yeah.
I don't know, but he did that way more than once.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the heck?
That video needs to surface. So, in other words, there's also a video of
this one with NK. That first the August 16th interview was her first video interview. The other one was just, I think, a audio, which I don't know if I heard that one. I'm not sure if I heard that one. That first one, because they say, remember how she keeps talking about Mark? And Mark, somebody said, I wanted to clear this up. Somebody said something like, oh, she slips up and says Mark. When she's talking about Mark, she's talking about the other investigator from the interview the day before, because you could hear her throughout saying, well, Mark, I told Mark this. Is the investigator the day before during her interview. But I don't know if I've heard that one yet. I've heard all the other ones, but I feel like I don't know. So, but this one says video, and he even says we need this video in this interview, talking to the NK. So it's why don't they put that video out? And you're right, though, the Chris has a video too. That's why you got confused.
Yeah,
Chris,
yeah.
The Chris one says right there on the transcripts that there's a covert video recorder. Remember?
Yeah.
So it was. I don't know if it was hidden, if it was a secret one, but like they did have a video of that and a video of this. Why are they only releasing the audio? I would love to see. They might end up releasing the video
like
of
said,
Chris,
you
but
know, it's
NK
not over,
would have already
apparently,
been
you
out.
know?
You would think
Yeah,
the
well,
video.
like I said, I don't think it's over.
No, I mean I don't think it's over either.
Maybe
but
that's
like,
why I don't know. Maybe it's got something in there that
oh yeah, maybe.
you know they're using like
Even with this one, you mean the NK?
Even with her too.
I don't know. It's just yeah. And then another weird thing, and a lot of people pointed this out too, how that Sunday night, how she said it was weird because it was that conversation, the 9 to 11 conversation she had that Sunday. She said it was weird because she heard the TV on, you know, at the end of the conversation, towards the end. So it would have been around 11 o'clock. And if it was loud enough for her to hear, and the kids were supposedly like the lightest sleepers, like what? Why? You know, that just seems weird. He would have had the TV on that loud. I don't know.
And that was around 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
She said,
and
too.
she, you know, like I heard, like they were such light sleepers that's why Chris couldn't pull his truck in the driveway. Like he had to go out the front door or something like that. They were explaining how like they would try, like in the morning when that one friend at Shanann was staying with him, how you know they would have to do certain things in the morning so the kids wouldn't wake up because they were such light sleepers. So 11 o'clock would have been pretty late for the kids, and for you know, for her to have heard that the TV on was, I guess, kind of weird. But I mean, I don't know. You know, if they're such light sleepers, I don't know. Maybe reading too much into that. I'm not sure. Another thing is okay. We're getting to the song Battery now. He did look up the lyrics at 10:10 a.m. that day, that Monday.
10,
right
10
after
a.m.
it would have been after he, not right after, but it would have definitely been after, you know, he killed everybody.
Went out to the field.
And he, you know, when they asked him about it, he said, "Oh, that was another time." So he lied about that for some reason.
So that was after he had already went out there with them.
Yeah,
Like
10, 10,
for sure.
yeah. That would have been after. That would have been when he was probably at the other site, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe when he was on the way to the other site. I don't know, but it was at 10:10 that day. So so I did look up the meaning, and I read a lot of comments, and you guys were right about it doesn't matter, I guess, what it actually means, because I know hold on one second. Did I write that down? No, I didn't, of course. God, I had like shout outs I wanted to do. This is killing me that I can't find any of them. Anyway, I guess you guys are kind of right. It doesn't matter like what the song actually means. It matters kind of what it meant to him. How he perceived it. Because like they say, like, you know, music, even if you hear from musicians, music is supposed to be kind of interpreted to the listener. Like they kind of leave it open. You know, it might mean one thing to, you know, the musician, or, you know, like even art is another example. It might mean one thing to them, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's how everybody perceives it. So, I'm not sure, you know, who knows how he perceived it. Of course, in the interview, he said he perceives it, when they asked, what does that song mean? He said, you know, it's like a whole family acting as one, like a battery together. Remember he said that? But if you look at the words, I mean, they are so crazy. Just go ahead and read some of the words, like
refresh my memory. How did he word that? How did he say that he took that
I wish I had the exact words, but he said something like it means like a family operating as like one battery together or something. I know that's not exact words,
I see
but
where you're going with it. Yeah.
Operating as a whole, like a battery, is that something kind of made it like that. And you know, when I was like going through like what some people thought it meant, a lot of things that everybody kind of agreed that it was like this kind of rush, like this rage rush, like it had like you know, those adrenaline pumping songs where it just get you all pumped up. Like this is one of those songs that would get people pumped up, and it made you have like this rage and adrenaline, and like kind of like a real like. And I listened to the song, and I could see how it would do that.
It gave him an affirmation of strength.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he was getting off on that after that. That was he was
gave him control.
I agree. it was like adrenaline. I mean, he was on a high already, I feel like, and that was just like intensifying it and just kind of went along with that rage that he was feeling and that, well, I don't want to say rage because I don't think, I don't think he snapped, like that kind of rage. So I should take that back because I really don't think he
Don't
snapped.
take nothing back that you, like I said, this is just...
Well, because I really don't think he snapped. So I don't know why he said rage, but I kind of mean it like that adrenaline, like that high, like that he was probably feeling after he killed him, like he was just feeling like, and he probably used this to like, I don't know. What do you think? Go ahead.
He felt strong. It did. He's just... Wow.
It just gave him... I don't know.
Circle
and the
of
weird
destruction.
how she asked him what it meant because she liked the song and she wanted to know what it meant. Isn't that weird that she liked a song about saying kill the family?
Well, yeah,
you know?
that's the thing is, and I'm sure they both...
And then another thing is people said it means like manipulation or control through like violence or whatever. That was one of the people's interpretations of it.
He took this as and I don't even think she gave him, this song for manipulation of violence. I think it was more of a strength and a power and I don't think what he did.
No, I'm not saying him. I'm saying another person said that. What I'm saying is what other people. I'm saying I'm sorry. I shouldn't even care what other people are. I'm saying this is what some of the other people said their interpretations of the song. Let me take that back. Okay, so one person said it was like a rage rush, adrenaline rush, a microcosm of event. This is just one opinion. And one person said it was anger and control. It has over people. So anger and the control it has over people. Another person said manipulation or control through violence and abuse. And then a lot of people said it was the name of the street where the band used to play was called Battery. But as far as that, I think, I'm sorry to move that. I think it was like it gave him like this energy and this power over like go ahead.
Yeah, no, you didn't cut me off at all.
Yeah,
honestly, no, you did
because I just wanted to clear you up. I wasn't saying he thought that. I was saying
yeah.
somebody else. I just went over what other people thought.
And that's the thing. You said it earlier that the group actually said, when they made this, I'm sure it's up to the listener. I'm
not saying this group said. I'm saying a lot of you'll hear musicians say that. When they ask, well, "What does that song mean?"
Right.
Like a lot of they want it to be open to the listener a lot. Whatever it means to them because it means something different to everybody.
And I guarantee you, him and NK have listened to this quite a bit together, and this is their, this is a meaningful song. So what are you saying it meant now then? It just gave him strength. He was in control of himself. He was being
control. See, that's what I'm saying. It has something to do with a little bit of control.
There's no doubt about that. It put him in a different place.
When you listen to that song and it just gives you, like, it's one of those songs that just kind of pumps you up and gives you that power, like you said. That's what I was saying. I feel like that it just kind of was one of those songs that just gave him, it just added to his high and his feeling that day. Or is that not what you're saying?
Yeah, no. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what I could see it because if you should listen to it. It's like one of those, like.
See, I haven't listened
energetic
to it.
that would pump you up. If you like that kind of music, it would just be like, just get you all pumped up and ready to go, like ready to do something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like almost like, or keeps you on a high from something you already did. Keeps you on that power, like you said, power.
And it's those words that do it too. That add to his. Yeah. And
it's adding to his. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
She freaking knew that.
So, I just wonder how much. Is it something that she just completely brought up and said, what is the song? I like it. I know you like Metallica. Or did he bring it up to her first? Or I wonder how it really first initiated as far as...
I don't know, but all I know is they both jammed out to this song together.
I bet. And then I bet you after he did that, it just took him right back to that place again, huh?
Yep. That's our song.
Yeah. Well, like, I guess, I don't know, you guys probably already heard of it, maybe we should read some of it or no?
If you want.
I should play it. I listened to it the other day just to see. Here, you read it.
Okay, lashing out at the action, returning the reaction. Weak or ripped and torn away. Hypnotizing power, crushing all that cower. Battery is here to stay. Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me. Cannot stop the battery. Dude, he's getting a
I want to say,
rush
one
on
thing,
this.
hypnotizing power. Like, I feel like he was kind of hypnotized by her, like, in a way, and she had some power over him. And he, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of how maybe he took that. I don't know.
Well, that when he supposedly snapped, I guarantee you 10 to 1, his
You know what I'm
hypnotizing power crushed everybody.
that makes sense.
Tower.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That power that he was feeling with her energy and stuff,
ma'am.
like
Yes,
it was
ma'am.
crushing anything that he felt, like that cower, like any weaknesses that he felt. You know what I'm saying?
He-
Like
yeah.
he thought he looked at his family as like a weakness. That was something that was dragging him down. So he had to crush that. He had to get rid of that. Like. You know what I'm saying? That's how.
Dude, and he is banging his head to this.
Yeah,
Look at this.
yeah.
Lunacy has found me. Wow.
Yes,
Smashing through the
right
boundaries.
there, it has.
Lunacy
And that
found me.
moment is
Cannot
probably
stop the battery.
that moment is probably the peak of when like when he fully felt that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just right
yeah.
after he did it, that's like when he probably peaked at feeling that what those lyrics mean. You know, am I making sense? I
Yeah,
don't
you're
know.
making
Sometimes
you're
I
making
can't-
sense to me.
I can't
You are.
explain. Do you
No,
understand what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
100,
and that's when he, I don't know.
Crushing all
Go ahead.
deceivers, mashing non-believers, never-ending potency, hungry violence seeker, feeding off the weaker, breeding on insanity. I mean, if you read it, it doesn't sound all that, energetic, but
No, but the music is. You have to listen
I
to
can
it.
guarantee you the music just pushed him.
So it's like, and then
He was jamming out.
The thing
after
is
he
I feel like
killed
what
them
he
people.
was feeling off of it was totally different than what she was getting off of it, but he thought it was the same. Like I feel like she was feeling the same emotions, maybe, but what she was taking out of the word. Well, like I said, I guess everybody interprets it different, but I feel like her interpretation would be like how she was manipulating him.
Yeah.
And that's how she would take the words because and then he was taking it in a different. Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I could see how they would both relate to it in different ways.
Circle of destruction. Hammer comes crushing. Powerhouse of energy. Whipping up a fury. Dominating flurry. We create the battery. We create the battery. Those two jammed out that song so much. Damn.
And those they're called batteries too, which is kind of weird too. Also, the oil tanks are called battery.
But
It's just
I don't
so
think
many.
that's just
Well,
ironic.
no, I know.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just saying it's a weird thing that goes along with it.
Calling out aggression turns into obsession. Cannot kill the battery. Wow. Cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me. Battery. He is just nothing but energy.
Definitely turns into obsession. Wow.
Yeah. So when he did this,
So yeah,
I
he was
guarantee-
definitely on a. Wow.
dude, he was just Wayne's World shit, kind of crazy. Just she knew that. Damn, man.
So I feel like she probably did end up picking that song out and asking him about it. Kind of wanted him to put that in his brain and kind of think. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a way. I feel like by her bringing it up and him like looking further into it was kind of manipulating his mind because when he reads it, it's starting to make it. I don't know. I could see how she used that as a tool.
Sure.
I really can. So.
Dude, what do you think of this song? You like it? Dude, did you hear how... That's how I feel too. It's great. Yes, yeah.
But then making him like go and look at the lyrics and really analyzing them, and then it would. I don't know.
He would...
She
She
it's
knew.
just-
She knew. She fucking knew. Yeah, okay. So yeah, battery. And I'm
yeah.
sure
So
Metallica
I
didn't
wonder-
mean to bring it out that way for that,
Well, everybody, like I
Yeah,
said, everybody
right.
interprets it different,
Exactly.
but it just makes you wonder why he lied about that and said that no, that I didn't look it up that time. It was a different time.
Because that was their song. that's how those two are correlated. I don't want to get her in trouble. He wasn't talking about Shanae.
But from looking up the lyrics, though, I mean, oh
yeah.
yeah.
In the beginning
So
of that interview, when they asked, well, even I think the dad was there, its dad, and yeah, he kept saying, I don't want to get her in trouble. I didn't want to get her in trouble. What, Shanann? She didn't do anything. He knew.
and another weird thing, and I know I just keep saying like it's the same kind of points about like how, we know obviously I know we know that she was lying about thinking that he was totally separated. Keep saying they were he wasn't even restricted, but then I made a point of this. Then why even tell him to find a secret app to hide the pictures? Because I mean, if they're separated,
Yeah.
why are the wife? He could go out and date other people, right? So why even say, oh, find a secret app or So just things like that. And yeah, I guess, and I did have a note that Chris did say he had to calm her down a bunch of times.
It is. I mean, once he met her, that's when the clock started. But it's just a shame. It is a shame. And if they can't, do something, if she can't be charged for just being, just an adulterous woman, I guess. It sucks. It really sucks because her behavior created it to behave in a manner that caused massive destruction of life.
Oh,
There's got to be some type of charge. I mean, shoot. Say, for instance, if that would have been me that just got picked up or pulled over for doing something small, all of a sudden they'd be like, okay, well, I'd look at the court record for like maybe a expired plate or a turn signal out. Next thing you know, they'd be like, okay, well, there's this and failure to yield, improper pulling over, didn't hit your brakes fast enough. There'd be all kinds of stupid little charges under there, Why can't they do that with her? Am I making sense to you? Do you see what I'm saying? Why can't they do that? It seems like, if you spit to the left instead of to the right, they're going to charge you for spitting to the right and not the left. And then there's the other charge. You
but
got
then
the
they can end up
sidewalk
getting
wet.
sued. I mean, if it's not right, I mean, you're risking maybe getting. I don't know. No, you're right. Unless does her dad have some kind of power? I don't know. I mean, we don't. We don't know. I mean, but I think, but like we said, maybe this interview just came out. Maybe they are starting to talk to her again. We don't know. It's not. We don't. They're not going to tell us right now, especially if they're building a case about her. They're not going to let us know because they're building a case. They need to keep it.
Like we said before.
And I don't know when they would. I mean, if they're because they don't want her to know right now. If they're starting to build like a case, why would they want her to know? Because then she could run or she could try to come up with more lies. I mean, they don't want her to know that because they don't want. Yeah, I feel like it. That's what I don't know. It's my opinion.
Like we said before, though. Yeah, I'm sure it is because, like we said, it's not over. Well, the scary thing is about this whole thing too is it bothers me sometimes, but I hope that I've heard a lot of comments that man, you remind me of Chris, or you look like Chris, or that's scary. It really is. And
why is it scary?
Well, because if that guy,
oh
damn, I said his name too, but if it can be a person like me, what stops me from being him?
The inside, not the outside. That's just the physical appearance. It's not what's on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's just what you look like. Your characteristics. It's not.
I get that. Well, I know, but
I mean,
he's always
physical
happy.
characteristics.
He's always happy. People will always like him. A lot of people like me.
Oh, because you do remind. He does. The weird thing is
it does
like
bother
not
me.
how he acted after, because he acted really weird after like the whole thing happened. But like when you watch his home videos with Shanann, like it reminded me of him. That's the first thing I thought. Man, they have a lot of the same characteristics. Not only do they look kind of alike, like.
but
They
his
have the
demeanor-
same personality traits on a lot of things. It's
yeah,
weird.
yeah,
His
to a
demeanor,
degree,
his
to a
demeanor,
degree.
his expressions, the way he carries himself. It's weird.
I mean, so what? And see,
You're
this
right.
is,
Now I see what you're
you
saying.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is why, I wanted to come on here as not why I wanted to come on, but this is a part of the reason is we'd always talk psychology, for years as while she was getting her degrees. And I've always entertained, I've always asked, so why is this? Why is this? And we'd find out the answers, but I just, it's a scary thing, and I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm like, is there, I do you think I could ever do something like that? That's the scary part to me, because if this,
I don't think.
it
Why? I hope you don't even
snapped,
question
if
yourself
this,
like that.
but it,
Why would you even?
because
like,
I mean,
wouldn't even-
I don't know.
Why
I
do
don't
you
know.
think you're capable of that?
No, I don't think I'm capable of it. There's no way. No, I love life too much, But here's another thing. With this monster, in the last video I explained that if he wanted something, he wanted happiness that he never had before. In a way that was the same scenario with me. I wanted knowledge or education, and I just wanted a different life instead of what I had. But I worked for it, and I learned how to obtain that and keep that. So I'm but yeah, it's just a scary thing. It just bothers me.
I think
to
that's
know.
why this case is so like people are just
Yeah, yeah.
because it just doesn't make sense.
It
He just
doesn't.
doesn't. He does. That's the weird thing is like, guys, he didn't have any like. But I guess also we don't know. We only see what they put on video. But from even interviews of people that knew
Yeah,
him
I
and
can-
stuff,
mhm.
like he didn't have. He doesn't really have the personality traits of a psychopath or a narcissist. And I know that they can mimic certain things, but you would think there would be like other signs of his personality that would show like some of the common things that they would act like, and he didn't show anything. And I think that's why a lot of people are shocked by this, because either he was really good at mimicking and was really good at hiding it,
Or she triggered.
or
She was the
yeah,
trigger.
or he wasn't actually a psychopath or like narcissist, and something just switched off in his head. I don't know, but like he doesn't really have the common, and that's why I want to study a little bit more in depth, and I still have yet to do that because I've been trying to study these other cases. But
Yeah.
I kind of want to see like, yeah, well, the common traits, but I want to see maybe if there's other traits that maybe aren't the common ones that if maybe that he would have, because he just doesn't have the normal ones that you would see. So maybe we're missing something, and there are some other ones that like aren't so common and so typical of a narcissist or psychopath that we're missing with him. So that's what I kind of want to like go in and figure out, because it just doesn't make sense, because he doesn't fit the mold. He doesn't. So it's hard. It's hard to picture him doing that. And I think that's why we're all sitting here still talking to him talking about him.
it. Yeah.
Still, we're all just trying to figure it out, because it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Right.
So,
And then when I start seeing comments like that, and that's when it start making me think, really? And then, and then I look at his family, his upbringing. Remember how I said that type of family cycle has to be broken. Excuse me. That, just that. And, that's, when I was growing up, don't get me wrong, and that's another thing too. There was love in my family, but it wasn't, for me, it just wasn't a normal family upbringing, in my opinion. Not what I wanted, and it sucked, because, yeah, I just wasn't seen as a child really by the parents, although I was seen, I wasn't, if that makes any sense, but yeah, I'd come on, straight A student, from grade school all the way up to high school, come home, study, couldn't leave to have friends over. It's one of those just really enclosed, sheltered, types of families. And I know I had to break out of that, I didn't. So yeah, I got out there when I was about 15, I think. I started traveling. But so yeah, I went out for what I wanted. I wanted that type of happiness and no shelteredness. And it's weird because, like I said, his family, you can see, they're not the same as my parents were, but yeah, their demeanor and their everything, their behaviors are much different. But in a way, it's still almost the same thing. But that's why it really hit me. So yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna kill nobody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well,
Whew, yeah, we're gonna end,
we're gonna end
we're
this
gonna
one
end this
here.
one right here, so I can regroup, I guess.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Take care, guys. God bless you.